Hi everyone, it's Sherry from the blog OurLifeHomeschooling.com, where I share homeschooling encouragement for everyday moms. I'm going to be talking today about all the things that our homeschoolers will be learning this summer. If you're new to my channel, my name is Sherry. I am married to my high school sweetheart Nelson. We've been married for almost 23 years. I'm a mom of 10 kids. I'm a former public school teacher turned homeschool mom. We just finished up our 13th year of homeschooling. I love encouraging other moms on my YouTube channel and on the blog, OurLifeHomeschooling.com.
Hold the bucket by leaking.
Where's the end? Oh.
The end, okay.
I thought I would do my video outside today. It's so beautiful out here and I don't want to be inside missing this. This is my favorite time of year. We are finishing up all of our schoolwork. We're putting our portfolios together. We are finishing up on Wednesday, counting our days. So we've worked really hard from January up until now. We've really hardly taken a break at all. And we're just going to be really glad to be finished. Everything I'm sharing today is also in a blog post if you want to see some more details. I'm going to be talking about a lot of life skills that we do during the summer. And I've also done a life skills video on 50 life skills that should be taught at home if you want to check that out. What do homeschoolers learn during summer break? We learn a lot of life skills. On the one hand, we, as far as the state's concerned, we finish our 180 days, we turn in our portfolios, we turn in all of our paperwork, and we take a complete break during the summer. We don't think about that part of school at all. It's just a complete break for us. On the other hand, as homeschoolers, we see all of life as learning. And the more you homeschool, the more you realize how much school is meshing with life. It just kind of all goes together and it really becomes hard sometimes to tell the two apart. I'm not concerned so much with what my kids can pass on a test, with measuring what they know by their test. My interest in their learning goes so much deeper than that. It goes deeper than 180 days or just the things that we have to turn in to the school district. I'm interested in their development as a whole person. And so that's something that doesn't really stop when summer starts. It's really all the time. Of course, we know that you learn a lot from books. We emphasize the importance of books. I read a lot to my kids, and as soon as they start reading, we encourage them to read a lot. But we also know that all learning doesn't come from a book. A lot of learning comes from imitation or observation or experimenting, watching how someone does something and then trying it yourself. A lot of learning comes from our failures, from just trying something and seeing that it doesn't work and trying it a different way. So in summer, our learning just looks different. It's a little bit less book work and a lot more life skills. They have all summer to have just a lot more time to experiment with some of the things they're interested in. So I made a list of some of the things that our kids typically do in the summer and some things that they're going to be working on this summer that I thought I would share with you. We have a couple projects that are going on. Our second son, Luke, had this idea that he wanted to start a tree house. So he has looked up several YouTube videos and different plans on the internet, and he went out, purchased all the supplies he needed, and he has started making his own treehouse. He's real good at getting his siblings excited about his projects, so he has kind of got some of them to come along to help him. They're all out there. And they're all helping put this treehouse together. So that's something. And you can imagine how many math skills that they are practicing out there, measuring, and even just trial and error. When you try putting something together and it's not working, obviously you see that you need to do something different. Our girls have taken an interest in cooking and baking. This past year, they started a neighborhood bake sale. So they bake goods every month and they sell them. They go around and sell them. And so they picked up, a couple weeks ago, they picked up this cookbook at a thrift store that they loved. They've been poring over it. They have all these ideas of things that they want to try. And so they already have started just a list of things that they're going to be doing this summer and things that they want to sell. Additionally, because of their work in baking, they have started recording videos of the things they bake and uploading them to YouTube. So they started a YouTube channel and they're trying to work at ways to make it better. They had a lot of things to learn, how to put a movie together, how to add different captions and things like that. So that's a project that they're going to be working on this summer. This is also great for them for entrepreneurship, just learning how to make a product that someone wants to buy and learning how to advertise it. Another one of our girls is an excellent artist, and she has made some little canvases with calligraphy. She's really gotten good at it. I've been encouraging her to make more of them and to try selling them on an Etsy shop. So that's something she's really excited about and hopefully is going to try this summer. Another big thing around our house is all the gardening and homesteading that we do. This is a reason that we don't homeschool year-round, that we really do stick to an August through May schedule, because once the weather starts getting nicer, we plant a garden. We have some broiler hens and some pigs that we raise that provide meat for us the whole year. So we raise them all summer, butcher them at the end of the summer, and they go in our freezers. This is a big deal for our family. We include the kids in this work. They learn so much because they are also responsible for caring for these animals. Each of them has a day where they have to make sure that the animals have food and water and that they're all taken care of. They each have a specific day that they're responsible for that. So it gives the kids really a lot of value to see that they are doing work that really is helping the family and that we are all depending on each other to be able to take care of these animals and to provide for our family.
Wow, I got 16 eggs in here, but before there was they weren't I could see them really well, and then now when I came back, they're all buried in the hay.
So that's where they normally lay them.
Yeah, I mean they used to live back there. Now they're over here now. Cool how they buried them. I think I might have missed some of these too. Yeah, the eggs. This is just a weird egg. It's just so. But it might just be a small duck. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two huge eggs. Well, Mom, this might be a double yolkie. Might be.
Wow.
Those two giant eggs I saw, I'm like, how could I ever find those? They were huge.
Good job, James. We also garden, which teaches so many skills. It's great for kids to learn how to tell different vegetables apart, to learn which vegetables you can plant straight from seed and which ones you need to start indoors ahead of time. They also, learn a lot about soil. The soil has to be a certain way for the plants to grow. And of course, if we miss watering, if we miss weeding, they just need a lot of care. And in the summer, they learn a lot of the daily care that goes into some of these things like gardening and animals. Something else that we have a lot more time in the summer to focus on is just honing in on the chores around our house and just taking the time to, little things like making sure their dresser drawers are pushed in, making sure their shoes are neat and their bedrooms are organized. Sometimes we just need to fine tune some of their chores, like getting the dust on the top of the baseboards. And I use summer as a chance to really go through a lot of cabinets and organize, and I include the kids in these projects. Cooking is something else that we have more time for in the summer. Now, I do have my kids help me with cooking all through the year, but of course in summer we just have a lot more time. And they have learned so much from being a part of just being present for 3 meals a day, every day. There's so much chemistry in cooking. They've learned so much about density, about mixtures, about we've done a lot of experimenting with fermentation, so doing sourdough and some kombucha, and just having an understanding of, when something needs to be fed, and if you don't feed it, the bacteria will die. Understanding how this bacteria is really good for your health. There's so much science in cooking. So summer gives us a chance for the kids to be even more involved in cooking and to experiment with a lot of things. Nature study is something else that we would be learning in summer, and of course we don't have formal lessons, but it's just all around us. Every time we go outside, there's something new to see or some new flower that's springing up and they want to know what it is. We go for a walk in the woods and they're just observing everything around them, and there's so many different varieties of trees and flowers, birds, animals for them to see and to learn to identify, to watch their habits. So this is something that they're learning naturally from being out there and being exposed to it, and something they just ask more questions about in the summer. Another thing my kids are excited about, which would be in, I guess, the physical fitness category, my boys pulled out some of our old P90X DVDs. My husband and I did them years ago. And I guess it's a several-week plan that you can, of workouts. And I remember when we did them, they were really hard. But they have already started this. They've already, I think Luke is in his 5th week of it. Ty is in the 1st or 2nd week. And this takes an hour a day for them. And so they're just really excited about going through this program. They're all into eating healthier and making sure they're getting enough protein. So that's one thing that our boys are looking forward to. Another thing we all do is swimming. Swimming is a life skill that we want all of our kids to learn. Hopefully this year our 5-year-old and 6-year-old will learn to swim. They still haven't picked up on it, so I'm hoping to teach them to swim this summer. A lot of times in the summer, we also do pickup games of basketball and soccer just on our property. And our family is all out there, and just we have a lot of great times doing that. Often on a lazy summer morning, I'll see the kids out here on the front porch playing board games or card games, and I love to watch them do this. I love seeing them play together, just watching, those sibling relationships. But also, they are learning so much from this. I like to use my daughter, Julia, as an example. She, of course, has math during the school year, but I truthfully think she has learned more about adding and subtracting from playing Dutch Blitz and 5 crowns. She just adding up her score and subtracting. I really think that this has taught her more about computation skills than she has learned from her math. Another thing that we do in the summer that I am going to call a life skill, although maybe some people would think of it as an academic thing, is reading. I don't do anything formal, but reading is a part of life. And like I said before, it's hard to separate life from school. Reading with our kids has become part of a rhythm of what we normally do. We read a short passage of scripture at breakfast and at dinner. I love to read chapter books to my kids, so in the summer it may not be every day, but here and there, often whenever it suits, I'll read chapter books to them after lunch, or maybe when we're sitting around the pool, or just take a blanket on the backyard while the babies are napping. And of course, our kids still read a lot during the summer because they love to read. I want to touch on how you can create an atmosphere that fosters learning. None of us wants our kids to just be sitting around doing nothing, playing video games all summer. So how do you make your home into a place where the kids are always growing and learning and producing? And I thought of just a couple things that work in our family. The first one is to have a plan for screens. And of course, this is going to look differently in every family. Everyone has different comfort levels. One thing for us, we like to talk to our kids about the difference between using screens to be productive and using them just for entertainment. So, of course, there's a time and place for entertainment, and that's a part of our life too. But we try to keep it in moderation. On the other hand, we try to really encourage using screens for productivity. So if they are looking up a YouTube video, like Luke was, for example, on how to build a treehouse, getting treehouse plans, to me, that is something that is productive. And I want him to be using screens as a way and as a means of learning how to do things or how to create things. It's also been helpful for our family to have some no screen days, because this way there's just no chance for discussion. It's just we don't do screens on these days, and it kind of limits that and makes it just more useful. And when I say no screen days, I really mean no entertainment type screen days. That's really what I'm referring to there. And I think the most important one of all is just having limits on your screen time. Figure out, sit down and have a plan for your family so that your kids know what is expected, and so that you're not always having to make these decisions. It's just something that's already written out, planned out. We like to keep our phones back in our bedroom or our screens in the desk in a drawer so that there's just less distraction. They can be a constant distraction. Another way that you can foster an atmosphere of learning is by having a lot of raw materials and living things around. So blocks, Legos, we have a lot of tools around here, and my husband collects pallets, and the kids will use it to make different things out of, carve different things, build things. Some of them will use it for like craft projects, painting things. Look around and see what raw materials you can have. We have fabric if kids want to try sewing or you can make ribbons out. There's so much you can do with fabric, but just think of the raw materials that you can have and living things. That's why we garden. When you have plants around your house, when you have even something fermenting on the countertop, it gives your kids something to look at. It gives them something to go and see the change and the progress that is happening with that living thing. The more living things you have in your environment, the more they have to look at and to be curious about. I think the most important thing about creating an atmosphere where they can learn is to model it yourself. Be an interesting person. Find a hobby or find things that interest you. Spend time yourself just doing things you enjoy. Just because you kind of step away from the kids for a while and do something else, that's a good thing. That's showing them that you have interests. You're a person, you matter, and it will help them to want to find interests too, to find some hobbies of their own. I would love to hear from you what your kids, your homeschoolers, are learning during summer break. This will give me some ideas, and it will also just spread the inspiration and the ideas out there for other people. So if you could leave a comment below and let me know what your homeschoolers are learning this summer, I would love to hear from you. Thanks for listening in. Do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next week.